Hey everybody, welcome back to James Draws Everything, continuing today with our series drawing every country in the world's flag. And today we're doing a big one. We're going to be doing Ireland. And Ireland, you know where Ireland is. It's British Isles, right next to the UK in Europe. And we're going to call it Ireland. I know sometimes it's called the Republic of Ireland, is to avoid any confusion with Northern Ireland, and that's kind of a complicated issue, which don't you worry, we will get to. And you definitely know what this flag looks like. Everyone knows the Irish flag, and if you don't know your flags, and let's say that you only know flags from watching my videos, you'll know that I already kind of almost drew Ireland on accident. I got the colors mixed up, and luckily I had a pretty good save there, because just a little happy accident that turned out to be the flag of the Ivory Coast, Côte d'Ivoire. But today we're doing real deal Ireland. All right, so you're looking at the real deal now here, and let me just kind of just put where I want my colors to be. And yeah, so there we go. And Ireland does have a bit of a longer flag. That's what differentiates it from the Ivory Coast flag. That one's a little bit smaller. And it's a tricolored flag. So I'm just going to kind of get to it. Remember, James, the orange is on this side with Ireland. I got it. Okay, so we'll just color that, and I'll give you a little bit of Irish history. So the ancient Celtic people arrive in Ireland around 600 BC. Not a lot known about them because they didn't have like a written language really, and they were considered barbarians compared to like the rest of the civilized world. And people kind of always talk about like how Europeans were always like ahead of everybody else, and that wasn't really true for a long period of history. Like a lot of your advanced civilizations were like in Mesopotamia, North Africa. Europe did have Rome, but Rome didn't really stretch as far as Ireland, and they did go into the British Isles, and you can read like Tacitus, I forget how to pronounce that, the Agricola and Germania. They talk about the expedition up there, just kind of surprised at like how primitive and barbaric the Irish people were. Well, they're not really Irish yet, not really called Irish, but the Celts. And on and off, they're fighting Norse invasions, Viking invasions. So that kind of goes on between the 9th and the 12th century. And after that, kind of quiets down. They're fighting the British quite a bit. So Great Britain is, advancing during that period of time. They're really starting to establish their foothold in the world. And for Ireland, it's pretty much nothing but oppression, slavery, and they don't have like a political voice. So yeah, the Irish, and this is kind of just part of the Irish spirit. They've been kicked around quite a bit by pretty much everybody. A lot like the Scots, and I think that kind of leads to just a very unique character with the Irish people. They do have a very fatalistic kind of sense of humor, a dark sense of humor and view of the world, and I think it makes them really cool people to be around. You can't really offend an Irishman, and that's how it should be. And so kind of going more into the modern age again, a lot of British Anglo repression, big famine. You definitely heard of like the potato famines in the 19th century, causes a massive emigration crisis. This is where you see a lot of Irish immigration into the new United States, although I guess the United States had been around for almost 100 years at that point when that happened. And let me just switch my pen here. And so the Irish, they're always used for like manual labor, in kind of that period of history. And anytime you have a big emigration crisis and famine, you're going to create political instability back home. So the Irish are, they're having a bit of issues with identity at that point in time. They don't want to be considered British. And there's an uprising in 1916 on the backdrop of World War I. This is kind of going on at the same time. The Easter uprising, it's not going to get all the way into that, but, kind of a rebellion against British rule. They achieved full independence in 1921. They do not get Northern Ireland, so the northern counties in Ireland remain part of Britain, which actually leads to a civil war in 1922 and 23. And yeah, so that remains a big source of controversy. And again, that's why sometimes they'll call it the Republic of Ireland, just to differentiate it from Northern Ireland, but we're just calling it Ireland. We know what we're talking about here. And yeah, a lot of tensions as well with Catholics and Protestants, and that led to a period of history they call the Troubles. Went from the 1960s pretty much into the 90s. And when you think about like civil wars and stuff, and I'm not just talking about like civil conflicts and civil unrest, like full-blown like civil wars. You kind of think of like third world countries, but no, a lot of the hot conflicts during the Troubles, took place in Ireland, which was pretty much a first world country. So yeah, there's that, but that's kind of in the past now. Ireland is part of the international community. They are part of the EU, but they are not a member of NATO, and that is due to Ireland kind of militarily remaining neutral for most of its history. So very simple flag, and you know what that means. You're going to get some bonus content, and I think we're just going to have some fun with this today. So we're just going to draw every Irish stereotype in the book. And as I'm doing that, the Irish flag, again, it's very similar to the Ivory Coast, just a little bit longer. And there is no official meaning to the colors. All right, so there is some folklore though around the colors. They say that the green represents nationalistic traditions of Ireland. The orange is the William of Orange minority in the state, and then the white is the peace that unites the green and the orange. Okay, so that's the Irish flag. And what do you think about when you think of Ireland? The Irish have so many stereotypes, and they don't get offended by that, right? They're Irish. So we're going to draw an Irishman here. Big beard. So there's that. And you know what kind of Irishman I'm drawing, right? I'm drawing a leprechaun. Leprechauns being indigenous to Ireland until they were hunted into extinction by the British. Did that really happen, James? No, I don't think so. But yeah, we all know St. Patrick's Day. We all know Guinness beer. And I wish I had a Guinness right now. Actually, I don't have one. I had one for my Ivory Coast episode in preparation for Ireland, but yeah, go back and watch that one. That was a big mistake. So we've got Guinness, and how about, we mentioned the potato famine, right? The Irish, they're known for potatoes. So we got a burlap sack full of potatoes, right? And give it some of that burlap sack design. A little cross hatching there. Yeah, so we got a good little Irishman here. He's already tipping him back. It's probably not even noon yet, and he's already on his third Guinness. Yeah, those are the Irish, right? Good Irish stereotypes. So yeah, the Irish, very strong national identity, and I appreciate that, and I understand why things like the Troubles happened, and why Ireland is part of the international community. But not really. You know, they also kind of fight to keep their own identity. You know, they're having some kind of issues right now with immigration and whatnot, so we'll see what happens there. You know, yeah, it's that's one of the funny things about that too. Let's Josh some potatoes. He's got some falling out of the sack here. Yeah, so you know, they'll say that like, oh well, you know, you have to take in all these immigrants because you colonized them, and now this is like revenge. But Ireland never had an empire, right? So there was never an Irish empire. Ireland never expanded in all of its history. So yeah, that excuse doesn't really fly for Ireland. I mean, even if you don't agree with that premise in the first point, you know, you could at least see that argument from, you know, if you're framing it logically like that. But it doesn't work for Ireland. So yeah, there's something else going on there. So yeah, let's just get our leprechaun in here. And Ireland, beautiful country, especially when you go out into rural Ireland. As far as, you know, the Irish green, you know, that's kind of like a thing for a reason. You know, tons and tons of just gorgeous landscapes, rolling green hills for miles and miles. Ireland is a beautiful place. And yeah, it does have a lot of kind of untouched land that, you know, kind of, like I said, those rolling hills where, like, you know, if you feel like if you walk too far, you know, you're gonna fall off the face of the earth or something. You know, it's got very remote rural areas, which I always like. I like natural beauty like that. So just dot his I's a little bit. Top of the morning to you. And get our Guinness label. Get that yellow. So what kind of Guinness is he drinking? The yellow label is the, if I'm not mistaken, that's the extra stout. Alright. So he's got a Guinness extra stout. He's happy. Irish breakfast. That and what's he making with these potatoes? Maybe he's got a stew or something. And if you've ever had Guinness stew, or if you haven't had it, you should. It is absolutely delicious. I know a lot of restaurants and drinking establishments, they like to serve Guinness stew on St. Patrick's Day. So next time you're out and about for one of those, I recommend giving it a shot because it is absolutely delicious. You know, the Irish, they always bring their culture, you know, wherever they go to. So if you got an old Irish grandma or grandpa, you know, they probably brought some of those traditions over with them. You know, I do have a little bit of Irish heritage in me. So yeah, there's that. And yeah, again, like in the Americas, the Irish were always kind of like the labor class, you know, kind of just a hard-boiled, tough kind of people. And that's why we love them. That's why we love the Irish here at James Draws Everything. And then we'll just finish him off with a little bit of skin tone here. And yeah, the Irish, since we got some time here, we're not in a rush. The Irish, as far as their place in the United States, there's always been like a bit of an Irish like political bloc. It's kind of like if you think of like the Kennedy era Democrats. You know, the Italians had the mafia. The Irish had like a wing of the Democrat Party because the Democrat Party was very pro-immigration, kind of to counter the Republicans. You know, of like the 19th century, gaining so many black votes from freeing the slaves. The Democrats kind of became more of like a party of European immigrants to gain some of their votes for political power. So yeah, and the Irish, you know, most of them, a lot of the ones here were Catholic, and there was always that fear, like kind of like when Kennedy got elected, that he would run the White House from the Vatican. And, that was always a fear for like electing a Catholic president. And he was the only one, Kennedy, until Biden. But if Biden is Catholic, then I got a bridge in Brooklyn to sell you. But yeah, so the Irish have had a rich history, very unique culture. They bring it wherever they go. You can take the Irishman out of Ireland, but you can't take Ireland out of the Irish, right? So Ireland, never quit, never surrender. You do you. You always be you, Ireland. There's your Irish leprechaun. There's the flag of Ireland. So let me know what you think. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I will catch you on the next video.